this was like all in frame. Just a little more. There we go. That works. Alright. So, welcome everyone to the stream. Today we're going to be researching a little bit about the fires that were going on in California and some of the other stuff that I've heard about going on there, and that apparently Australia is also facing a bunch of breakout fires as well. I know there's a whole lot of other stuff going on in the news, but I feel like there's enough people talking about that stuff. If y'all end up bringing it up, I'll put my 2 cents in from all the stuff that I've seen other people research into. But let's start. Wow. Why can I not? Jeez. Let's start here. And then I'll go down and check out these sources as well. So, let's get started. The 2019 California wildfires. It's the current running. The 2019 wildfire season is the current running fire season in California. So far, over 6,402 fires have been recorded, according to CAL FIRE and the U.S. Forest Service, totaling an estimate of 250,000 acres of burned lands as of November 3rd. So, about a week ago. Although the 2019 fire season has been relatively quiet in California through mid-September as compared to the past years, October through December is still expected to have the greatest fire potential, as the Diablo winds in Santa Ana winds pick up. In late October, the Syndicate fire became the largest fire of the year, burning 77,000 acres in Sonoma County by November 6th. Massive preemptive public safety power shutoff (PSPS) events have been controversial. PG&E and other power utilities have preemptively shut off power to over 1 million residents due to the perceived risk of the wildfires starting in high winds due to the high voltage power lines. While large areas have been without power for days, people in fire danger areas had troubles getting update, and critical life support equipment would not work without backup power. Okay, so yeah, this is one of the major reasons why I wanted to cover this. I had heard about PG&E cutting off the power, and that's actually just killing people because of their life support systems, that they just don't have access to it, and people not being able to get like updates and all that, instead of, you know, just fixing their own darn stuff before all of this happened. Like, they know the fire season's coming. So, early projections, the fire behavioral... Well, let me... So, let me get that open in a new tab, and we'll get to that in a bit. So, fire behavioral experts and climatologists have warned that heavy rains from months early in the year have produced an excess of vegetation that would become an abundance of dry field later in the year as the season gets underway. According to the U.S. Forest Service, the Interior Department officials, early projections indicate the fire season would possibly be worse than the year prior, stating, "If we're lucky, this year will simply be a challenging one." This assessment was written off on the basis of noting that the state has recently been seeing consistently destructive fires more often than ever before. How is seeing consistently destructive fires more often than before, like, being used as a justification for, like, how bad it will be? That just, oh, we're having really destructive fires, therefore we won't have this much vegetation? Is that the argument? Seems really silly. In other fires, 3 people were injured during the Moose Fire. Okay, so, and then this is all of the fires that have been going. 1 structure destroyed, 7 destroyed, 2 injured. A down PG. An E power line was the cause. You know what? Let's check that out. Caused by lightning strike. Unintentional. Caused by vehicular traffic. Lightning strike, lightning strike. A lot of lightning strike. California gets a lot of wildfires from lightning strikes is what I'm learning here. Unconfirmed cause, but reported that high voltage SCE transmission line malfunction near point of origin. So we're going to want to check that out. Unconfirmed cause, but the reported that high voltage PG&E transmission line malfunction near point of origin. And this was a huge one. Yeah, that, so we definitely want to, oh, whoops, close that, go back to here, want to open that, open this. Okay. Threaten the area near Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. Simi Valley. So what's red mean? We have all of these green numbers, but what's this? What's the red? Is there a key? There is not a key. Oh. So red means it was contained. Or is it active? Oh no, red means these are active right now. So there's about 3 of them going on right now. With one in Taboose, Hillside, and Ranch. Or that's the name of the fire? So it's in Tehama, San Bernardo, and Inyo. See also climate change in California. That's a useful map. Alright, so let's take a look at the Syndicate fire. So, Geyserville. Or Geyserville? A wind-driven wildfire that erupted overnight forced some 2,000 people to flee their homes in Wine County town Thursday, even as many residents had their electricity shut off to avoid power equipment sparking an inferno. Dry, gale-force fall winds whipped the Syndicate fire, which ignited in Sonoma County around 9:30 p.m. Wednesday near the geysers. I'm going to just say geysers. Geysers geothermal power plant into 16,000 acres of roaring flame. On Thursday afternoon, Pacific Gas and Electric Co. revealed that, PG&E, revealed that one of its transmission towers was damaged near where the fire reportedly began, raising questions about how effective the utility's outages are at averting wildfires. I feel like this is pretty important. The blaze was at just 5% containment at Thursday night, as 1,300 firefighters struggled with difficult terrain. While no injuries were reported, at least 49 structures were destroyed. CAL FIRE's officials said you could see the trees going up like candles, said Sean Olin, who lives with his 91-year-old mother on Red Road. Oh, why not just dox them? In Alexander Valley, you can see the firestorm swirls. I assume they got permission to just put all of that in. Firefighters banged on Olin's door at 5:30 a.m., telling them to leave amidst the phenomenal windstorm. Power outages add to fear. What compounded the fear and uncertainty in this region, accustomed to packing bags for quick escape on windy October nights, was a new ingredient. PG&E had cut power to thousands of homes as a precaution. The company began cutting power to 178,000 households and businesses in 15 counties Wednesday afternoon amid red flag warnings of wildfire risk. Among the most affected was Sonoma County, where the memories of deadly 2017 Wine County wildfires are still painfully fresh. It was the embattled utility's second largest power shutoff aimed at reducing wildfire risk, coming just 2 weeks after it turned off some 735,000 customers for hours to days, many in the same areas. PG&E warned that more massive outages in the Bay Area and elsewhere in Northern California could come this weekend when dry, windy gusts are expected to resume. But even with the safety shutoffs, the flames came. In addition to the Syndicate fire. The Mirror Fire near Stinson Beach was burning about 50 acres. Thursday in Marin County in Santa Rosa, a blaze that began in Daniels State Park was holding about 3 acres. Santa Rosa Fire Department officials said. Okay. In Brute County, the Nelson fire charred 75 acres. So, what I'm reading, either this is omitted or it's simply not here. They're not doing it. Is that PG&E is only cutting off the power to avoid, it's like they think they're doing harm reduction, but it's actually just damage control for their own brand, right? Because you can't just shut off 735,000 customers and just be like, this is fine. Because the fire's not being caused by us. We're not the cause of the fire. Like, they're not even, like, going through and replacing their crap so fires don't spark off their own crap. So, that fire erupted around the geysers, the world's largest complex geothermal power plants, where steam from deep in the ground had been trapped for nearly a century to produce electricity. That's what geothermal power plants do. Okay. Sonoma County Fire and CAL FIRE dispatcher alerted crews around 9:27 p.m. Wednesday to a vegetation fire reported in the geysers, adding also possible power lines down in the area. All units acknowledge life safety hazard. PG&E said that it found damage on a transmission tower near where the fire started, a tower that had not been turned off during the power outages. In a report filed to the California Public Utilities Commission on Thursday, the utility said it became aware of the transmission level outage on 230,000 volt power line at 9:20 p.m. Wednesday night, minutes before the first reports of a fire. On Thursday morning, a PG&E employee reported that firefighters had tapped off the area around the base of a transmission tower which had a broken jumper, the report said. The one paragraph long report makes no claim of how the transmission line was damaged or whether it might have sparked a fire. We're continuing to investigate the cause of the fire, PG&E CEO Bill Johnson told reporters. The tower in question was a 43-year-old, not that old by industry standards, and had been inspected multiple times in recent years, he said, adding that it appeared to have been in excellent condition. Well, he can just say this. Do we actually have that information? Johnson said that while lower voltage distribution lines in the area where the fire started had been turned off Wednesday night, well, not to mention, are the inspection standards for California, have they like updated with the times? Like, are there things that can be put in place on these towers that have not been put in place that could have reduced this from happening in the first place. Thank you, Night Witches, 1991, for following. I really appreciate it. So, where was I? Okay. Johnson said that while lower voltage distribution lines in the area were where the fire started had been turned off Wednesday night, the utility decided to keep the transmission line on, following protocols based on the wind speeds and weather forecasts. PG&E equipment has also been blamed for sparking a host of recent devastating wildfires, including many that roared through the wine country in 2017, and the Camp Fire that destroyed Paradise East Chicago last year, the state's deadliest and most destructive. So there's a history of this as well, of their equipment possibly causing this. Facing a multi-billion-dollar liability claims, PG&E in January filed for bankruptcy protection. And PG&E began initiating public safety power shutoffs last year, something San Diego Gas and Electricity has effectively to reduce wildfire damage since the 2007 Witch Fire. PG&E was criticized for its decision not to de-energize high voltage lines near Paradise during strong fall winds that sparked the Camp Fire. Okay, so it has a history of this, and now that they could face liability for their equipment not being the cause of this, regardless of if they're passing an inspection or whatever, if their equipment is causing this and they refuse to just update it. Oh, hey Aries, thank you for swinging by. I really appreciate it. So now that also hi Lin Wu and Phoenix. Hey everyone, everyone's just coming in. So yeah, now that PG&E might actually be facing like liability charges, they're already just like, nope, we're just out. Bankruptcy protection. We're not gonna deal with this. We're just gonna bail out if we have to. Which is the scummiest thing that I've read so far. What? Okay, so sorry, I got distracted by something. Yeah, bankruptcy is pretty scummy. Yeah. It's when they're facing multi-billion-dollar liability claims, and they're just like, no. How about we just jump out and not actually have to fix the problem? Or, because the problem was never fixed, we'll just file for bankruptcy and get our golden parachutes. It'll be good. So the geysers. Calpine, Houston-based energy company, and the largest geothermal power producer in the U.S., owns and operates 13 power plants at the geysers, including those fire dispatchers identified near the origin of the fire. Too bad the legal system can't sue to fix the infrastructure. Oh, is that actually part of it as well? I didn't know about that. So wait. The energy company... Wait. Including those 13 power plants, including those fire dispatchers. Not sure, but most of the time you can only sue for money stuff. Yeah. Like, I'm not familiar enough with law and all that to have like a strong stance on what are the legal repercussions. I'm more concerned with why are these things happening, and they should have been avoided in the first place. I need to put this down. So, Calpine spokesman... Wait, I want to go back to this. Calpine, a Houston-based energy company and largest geothermal power producer in the U.S., owns and operates 13 power plants at the geysers, including those fire dispatchers identified. Oh, okay. I was misreading this. I was like, why does a power... this energy company own fire dispatchers? And I was like, how deep does this go? But no, it's just it's saying that it owns the power plants that the fire dispatchers identified. Because I'm bad at reading sometimes. So Calpine Smokeman said due to wind conditions, we had de-energized our local power line system before the fire started. We do not believe our facilities caused the fire, Kerr said, but added there are power lines operated by third parties across the geysers. So they're trying to shift blame onto some third party. The Syndicate fire flashed through a portion of our geysers geothermal facilities late yesterday. We believe there is relatively minor damage to our facilities and further threat has passed. At Geyser and Red Winery Roads, the burnout remains of a home's washer and dryer set next to an abandoned sedan, while patchy embers crackled up both sides of the road. More than 500 firefighters have been dispatched to fight the blaze. California Fire Chief Mike Parks said the crews are very concerned about the windy weather forecast for that weekend. Yeah, I don't blame him for being very concerned with how large these fires have been getting. You know, Cal Fire is all prisoners, right? No, I did not know. I didn't know that at all, Lin Wu. They're all prisoners? They're not volunteer firefighters? Or even paid firefighters? They're just prisoners? Because if so, that's pretty messed up. So, wineries on alert. Flames appeared on Thursday to be moving towards... It is? Oh, wow. Yeah, that adds a lot more context as well. Now try to keep that as mine as we continue going forward. I imagine like the fire chiefs and like those on the high up end of the fire department hierarchies are not prisoners, and are basically like firefighters that are also police guards. It's just very odd. Flames appeared on Thursday to be moving towards winery-lined Alexander Valley area, south of Highway 128. California fire spokesman Will Power said unpredictable winds mean that the fire has northern, southern, and western legs. The steep terrain coupled with the winds has made the firefight definitely tough. Power said, in a very complex, dynamic situation like this, tactics are reevaluated minute by minute. While up to 2,000 people safely left their homes early Thursday, between 30 and 50 residents refused to leave. Sonoma County Sheriff's Office spokesman Sergeant Juan Valentina said, the Sonoma County Fairgrounds in Santa Rosa and Healdsburg Community Center at 1557 Healdsburg Avenue were opened up as evacuation centers. Okay. So a lot of people evacuated, some didn't. The sheriff's office also warned residents in northern unincorporated Healdsburg to be ready to evacuate because of the nearby power shutoffs. Authorities went door to door knocking at people's homes to inform them of the evacuations. Valencina said, for some, the syndicated fire has already served as a harsh reminder of the previous blazes that has terrorized the region. Caitlin Reeve, 71, her husband, lost her home in the pocket fire. They got an evacuation warning on Wednesday night, so they shepherded their two miniature Schnauzes, Watson and Rachel, into the RV they had bought after the pocket fire and left them homeless and drove to Helmsburg Community Center. The rest of trying to rebuild, ever-present threat. Alright, map shows evacuation area in red and PG&E shut down approximately boundary in gray. So that's the syndicated fire. Mandatory evacuation area. Yeah, this fire was huge. And I'm guessing due to the mountains is why the evacuation area is so wonky here. Like, that's why, like, this Castle Rock Springs is under threat. Okay, and then this seems to be, all of that. Alright, I am not paying money. Sorry, I'm not about that. Alright, so And then this is just general information on it. So it was last updated last week. Started on the 23rd of October, and it was extinguished last week. So wow, this thing burned for quite a while. Yeah, that is quite a wonky area. Yeah. And the cause of it is still under investigation, although it's highly likely to be caused by this isn't a very helpful map. I guess this map would have been useful while it was taking place. And so this is like... Let's just take a gander here. Okay, and this is like warnings and all that, updating where the fire is going. So I'm going to take a guess and say that the map that's provided here was probably based off the live map that was going on in this. I'm going to make an assumption. So this was an article made while the fires were taking place. So yeah, it's talking about the mandatory evacuations. It's talking about how bad the winds got. Helicopters have dropped 2.1 million gallons of water. And the tankers have let loose over 1 million gallons of retardant, Cox said. Both the fire and PG&E power shutoff are impacting schools in the area. They're closed. Well, yeah, no crap, they should close. I would also hope businesses are closing. I don't think anyone should get caught in this fire. Your education and your businesses do not matter if you're not alive. It's as simple as that. If your future is threatened by something, prioritize? Ah. So this was another article made while the wildfires were going. Swing trees, if the power wasn't already cut. They preemptively shut off power. Basson Games said PG&E hasn't been doing its job to keep its infrastructure safe. They haven't cleared the brush from their lines, but they want to pay dividends, and they don't give their executives money. It's a public utility. We're paying for that. Do your job. Protect the public. Who's Blazing Game? Oh, he's just a resident. And he wanted to buy a generator, but it was too late. Everyone had already bought out generators. Okay, so this was a short piece written from the perspective of like the average person. Involvement, store lost power, but he managed to keep it on by guiding customers by flashlight to purchase goods. A lot of people coming in here. It's fair to say some of them were caught off guard by this, so for sure. Unfortunately, we've run out of some of the products that they needed. Debbie relies on her CPAP machine and oxygen generators to stay alive, and her condition prevents her from getting to community centers. What are you going to do with people like myself, she asked, because I don't know, I'm not the only one. Yeah. And from what I know, quite a few number of people in Debbie's situation have just straight up died due to the power outages. So, yeah. Yikes. Okay, and then this is talking about another one of the fires. This is a brush fire. They made significant. This website was not built correctly. It doesn't... Okay, there we go. Apparently I need to make it even smaller for the like text to wiggle into the readable area. So maybe the website's not as bad. Progress, tactical patrols. The public is reminded, please drive cautiously and yield. Yep. Please be advised, due to decreased requests for assistance, demobilization of the LAC has begun. However, in all LAC agencies provide. After the closure, LAC 211 will continue to provide recovery assistance. Okay. And then one civilian suffered cardiac arrest and died at the hospital. And then 8 firefighters with non-life-threatening injuries, who are prisoners, by the way. So this covered about, if I were to round up, 9,000 acres, but it's 8,800 acres. Oh, this is covering several different fires. Okay. There is a lot of them. Also 8,000 fires, containment 45%. Alright. So most of these sources are just the fires happening and how much damage they did. This is so hot. Yeah. Welcome to the stream, Fresho. And yeah, it is very hot. I'm unfortunately not finding all that much information on like how liable Q song. So these are all the fires going that have gone, and then the red ones are the ones that are active right now. So there's 3 active ones right now. We have 1, 2, 3, so about 3 cases out of all of these fires that are caused by power lines and or PG&E, which, ow, which, yeah, PG&E seems to be like a big cause for some of these fires. And the power outages are not helping. Because they're happening anyways. And it looks like a grand majority of these fires are being caused by lightning strikes as well. I may do a research stream tomorrow about the Swedish far right, since I'm going to be doing that for homework anyways. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. So, you know, may as well do my homework on stream. I mean, multitask it. 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah. And then, like, one of these was caused by a controlled burn that went out of control. 3,000 acres in El Dorado. What better affiliate celebratory stream could you imagine, huh? Yeah. That sounds really fun, Presto. So, overall, like, the large picture is the power outages are getting people in, like, who need access to their power killed. It's not stopping the fires from happening anyways. And there are still some fires being caused by PG&E own stuff. But on top of that, they just don't have, like, the infrastructure required to stop all of these fires. Like, when so many of these fires are being caused by lightning strikes, and due to global warming, the temperature is just going to keep getting hotter and hotter and more dry for this California area. Not to mention, they're starting to get less and less fresh water. A lot of their underwater lakes are starting to dry up, from what I understand as well. So California is in a really bad spot right now with trying to deal with these fires, and they just need to, like, come up with some better, like, structural change to, like, be able to combat these fires. I don't know what that would look like. But if they don't do something, this is just going to get worse every year. Like, it's clear that the power companies like PG&E need to completely overhaul their stuff to be, like, more flame resistant and not cause the power, like, not cause these problems. So, and so they don't have to turn the power off in order to avoid these liability shenanigans. Like, that seems to be incredibly clear. But the one, like, I would be remiss to just ignore that most of these are just caused by lightning strikes. And, like, 1,800, 1,300, 8,000, 5,000, 5,000, 4,000, just caused by lightning strikes. This seems to me like very clearly that California either needs to somehow like trim down its vegetation, which seems like a bad idea because we still need to combat climate change to some degree, or it needs to have a lot more investment into structural ways to combat these fires. Like, I don't know. Just having things built in their woods and highly vegetated areas that could go off if a fire is detected. It not like a sprinkler or anything like that, but like something that would smother the fire out. I know there's certain, like, I guess like fire extinguishers or something, like misters. I don't know. I don't know what would fix this, but they need something like to cover like high risk areas in order to keep these things from reaching out of control, to like stop the fires before they get out of control, right? So that seems to be California's situation for the most part. If someone has like something else to like bring up about it, I can go through that as well. But I'd like to take a look at Australia's fires. Because there's, I saw that on Twitter. You know what? Let's start a wiki. Brush fires in Australia. Let's see, is so yeah, there's 3 major brush fires going on. One with 1 million, was that acres? Or is that, oh, 1 million HA, which I don't know. But 2,500,000 acres. And that's ongoing. Yeah, so this is what I want to check out. Oops. 67, 68, 69. Okay, so a total of 45 homes have now been confirmed destroyed following the brush fires in northern NSW. Crews have now surveyed more than 550 properties and confirmed the following losses. 45 homes, 45 homes destroyed, 11 damaged, and 166 in the direct area. Fire saved. Of the homes destroyed, 37 were impacted by the Brushbeers Flat Road Fire. 8 properties were destroyed by the Long Gully Road Fire this week, in addition to 24 which were destroyed last month. Across the bushfire season to date, a total of 89 homes have been destroyed in the NSW. So this is talking about the property loss. Oh, and then this just has nothing. Okay. So it seems very clear that these fires are going to be increasing in like how often they occur, and like not only that, but like the scale of how large they're going to get. And that's very concerning, especially with climate change like exacerbating that, all of that. So let's see if we can find climate change fires. So like solutions to this, like it's almost like climate change is changing the climate, which has an effect on how climate phenomenon like weather behaves. Yeah. And like we know this is going to happen. Even if we made all of the changes necessary to stay at the 1.5 degree Celsius